Well, Skip, it didn't change my outlook because I had very little expectations of them for the season anyway. So nothing they was going to be able to do was going to change my mind. I think it gave us a glimpse inside to what Mike McCarthy, I don't know if he's really that bland and dull as far as speaking in front of his team, but I think we got an idea of like, okay, it probably made him look worse. The outside world probably looks at him a little different today than they did before the season started. You mentioned that Jerry would like to treat this like a Thanksgiving Day. He'd like to do this every year. You know, Skip, he in Detroit, they're going to be on Thanksgiving every single year. Jerry would like to do this every single year because it gives him an opportunity to showcase Jerry Jones. You get a chance to see the star. You get a chance to see the big old shiny building, that, you know, in Jerry's world. So Jerry really likes this.
And how did episode 5 end last night? With about 15 straight minutes of Jerry from on high in his office, overlooking the practice field,
this thing is
watching his team at work.
Exactly. So for me, Skip, look, I saw, you know, in practice, CD, Amari make a couple of nice catches. The thing that I really could relate to, Skip, is being a 7th round draft pick and waiting for the phone to ring, hoping it doesn't ring, to say, Shannon, blame your playbook. And we were sharing rooms back then. We were in the hotel, Clarion Hotel, I'll never forget it. Me and a buddy of mine, B-Mac, I know you're watching, and the phone rang. It rang. I ain't answering, Skip. You finna tell me I'm going to bring my playbook.
This is pre-cell phone.
yeah, this is pre-cell phone.
This is the room phone. Yeah.
This is the room phone, Skip. I'm like, I ain't answering the phone.
Yep.
Then he comes out, backside, homeboy, they got me. Good luck the rest of the way. And, you know, we still good friends today. We still talk to this day.
Was that the end of his career?
That was it. He played a couple of years in the World League.
Okay.
And then that was it.
Well, there was a lot of that going on last night.
Yeah.
Except all of the potential victims all wound up on the practice squad. See, there was no practice squad.
Actually, 90 was the first year, but we didn't know anything about the practice squad. It was in its infancy then. I think there was like 5. They kept 5 players.
And now it's 16, so it seems like everybody's on the practice.
Maybe 7, Skip.
Now Le'Veon Bell's on the practice squad.
Yeah, you had to, you know, there was back then, Skip, you had to basically no NFL experience or 1 year. You couldn't be 7, 8 years in the league and then get on the practice squad. So that was something that I could relate to. I thought Diggs' son.
Oh, he just took it over. He
loves that. He's like, you're not Patrick Mahomes. He's like, bro, you got to do a better job, man. You got to stop calling me Patrick Mahomes.
That kid's going to be a star.
Yeah, but Skip, you know what? You're going to be able to look back this in 20 years from now, because I remember Christian McCaffrey. Remember we showed the picture at the Super Bowl, Skip, how he was. He was like that, coming around, hanging with his dad in the locker room.
Was he that outgoing?
Yeah, he was. He was, Skip. You know, he and I played the Power Rangers. He and his brothers was always on the field playing football. So
he's become more quiet.
Yes. But he was a little bit more outgoing when he was younger. But so for me, Skip, look, I'm glad to see Dak's back out there. He looks good. Now, last night was the first time I was like, okay, Dak looked like he does have some zip on the ball, as opposed to that soft toss that I saw him doing before. So, Skip, nothing that happened in this episode changes my mind because I had very little expectations of him before it actually started. So I feel the exact same.
Okay, Shannon Sharpe, it is now my turn, and I just might need a seatbelt to put on over here because I, for one, am feeling way better about my Dallas Cowboys after last night's episode 5. I'm actually starting to get bullish on my Cowboys for the first time all offseason. I loved what I saw. It made my Cowboy blue blood start to percolate and almost brought it to a boil as I watched my man Dak back. I saw him throwing some rockets. I saw some gas on the football.
So you pick him
I saw a little mustard. I saw a little juice that I have not seen.
Yeah.
I saw my man Dak Prescott cutting loose with the football in ways that I did not believe I would see even in episode 5 because he's still being troubled by this mysterious arm injury, and they keep saying, we think he'll be ready for the opener, but we're not sure. He looks 1,000% ready for the opener.
I might get a bet then.
Okay, am I right about that?
Yeah, he looked good.
You mentioned you were impressed.
Yes.
I was actually blown away by accuracy and velocity that I have not seen since the early days of camp, maybe episode 1 of Hard Knocks. It's like I'm living my life through Hard Knocks into my team, the Cowboys.
Pre-team, though. It was when he was without pads, it was before the joint practices started.
It was even before the first padded practice because that's the one where he pulled up lame, whatever was wrong with his lat. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
So I was going into camp very concerned about a double surgery on his ankle. I thought it was a single surgery until episode 1 when he divulged, we kept it from the media. I needed a second surgery. He's now got a little wishbone scar on his ankle.
Okay.
But he looks like he is moving and grooving as well as ever. To me, he looked nimble. I watched him running the sprint drills, the gasser type drills, and he's planning and cutting on the ankle like nothing, like nothing's wrong with it. So my biggest fear became a non-fear because all I was concentrating on now was, is the arm going to be okay? And I think it's going to be okay. I liked his demeanor. I liked his attitude. I liked him with little Aiden Diggs. I liked everything about him. He took over the episode to me, and he took over the football team. We have spent all season long on Hard Knocks ridiculing Mike McCarthy's attempts to motivate the team in pregame speeches, even weekday speeches. And it has been pathetic, and it has been embarrassing, and it has exposed Mike McCarthy as not a commanding officer type, not a natural-born leader. And it's troubling to me because I didn't know him like that because I can't see inside the locker room before games. And he did, once upon a time, long ago, coach the Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers to a Super Bowl, and they won it. So I don't know what he said before the game. I don't know what he said at halftime, but somehow did they win in spite of him? Did he go along for a great ride with Aaron Rodgers?
Well, had they not done Hard Knocks, we still wouldn't have known what type of speaker he is in front of the team. Because that's not something that we're privy to. You know, they give a little coach speak after a win or something. He's like, hey, great victory. You're off till Wednesday, yada, yada, yada.
Okay, so we did see one quick glimpse of Mike McCarthy the day after cutdown day when they had their full final squad in the big meeting room all together, including 16 new practice squatters. And he was addressing the team for the first time about the upcoming game at Tampa. And I'm just going to read one line from it. We got to get in their ass and play football. What? I'm envisioning Shannon Sharpe sitting in the front row going,
that's
like seriously?
We
got to go play football, man. Just stop it. But then I saw that from Dak, and I thought, he's the leader of this football team. That worked for me. And he did say, we're gonna go win this game. I think I heard that come out of his we're gonna go win this. And we've put in the work to win this. And I liked every word he said because it rang 100% true, straight from the heart, straight from the gut, straight from the quarterback and the face of the franchise. The $75 million man, Dak Prescott, is starting to back it up on the practice field and in the post-practice huddle because that was leadership. That was commander-in-chief. That was natural born to me.
Skip, I don't think anybody thought that someone other than Dak was the leader of the team. You can tell guys gravitate towards him. He has just a certain disposition about himself that people want to follow him. And you want your quarterback to have that. It's not necessarily a prerequisite that your quarterback has to be the leader of the team, but it's nice for the quarterback to be the leader of the team.
I agree.
There's no question he's that.
Okay, so I have issues with my head coach. I have bigger issues with my general manager / owner, and I'm going to get to that in a moment. I love my quarterback. Dak is back, and he is the one I would suggest. The last word before they run out onto the field in Tampa, the last word needs to come from the quarterback because it'll be words that hit the hearts of his players. They will follow Dak into battle in ways, but they're oblivious to the head coach. They're going to have to win in spite of Mike McCarthy. I like glimpses of him last night. He seems like a good dude.
He does. He does, especially the cut. You know, you can tell it. Some guys skip. Look, it's a part of the job. You do the job,
and it's cold-blooded.
It's cold-blooded.
He was straight from the heart.
Yeah, he hugging the guys as they come in and congratulating them.
Like that Alarcon from Mexico. You know, he's all into it. You know, and should we then, Kamara? Should we play? Should we prank him or should we call him? And it was warm. Okay, I'm not sure. That's like the complete opposite of a lot of coaches I've been around because they motivated more by fear.
Correct.
Where you were afraid of them.
Yes.
And the last thing they want to do is have a heart-to-heart with you about how great it is that you're on our practice squad.
You think Coach Belichick hugging anybody?
No, he's not. Hey, and back in the days of Tom Landry and Jimmy Johnson, no, and no. Mike Shanahan, no. I'm sorry, because he had to maintain a healthy distance from you where you knew that his word was the final word and that you do not cross that man.
I remember after the final 53, Skip, we'd come in there. Friday was the game. We'd come back in there that Monday or Tuesday. Mike, we still cut people, right? Oh, you're not guaranteed to stay on this roster the whole year. You still got to perform. You still got to play. Oh, we still cut people.
Okay, good. Okay, I don't get that from my head coach, and I still say he's basically a puppet. Okay, what else did my heart good last night? What got my blood boiling, my Cowboy blue blood boiling, was I saw Micah Parsons with DeMarcus Ware. Yeah. And the kid is open to learning. He's trying to learn technique. He's trying to learn tricks of the trade. And he's gifted. You were ahead of the curve. You said he's the best defensive player in the draft. I love Patrick Surtain. I still say he's going to be like a 10-time Pro Bowler for your Denver Broncos. And he'll be right in there for defensive rookie of the year, but it's going to be hard for him because he's got to intercept like 6 or 7 passes.
Correct.
Micah Parsons is going to be all over the football field. They're going to use him 1,000 different ways. If anybody's going to bother Tom Brady, it will have to be Micah Parsons. It's a lot to ask of a raw rookie in his first game at GOAT on Thursday night solo stage. But he talked about how excited he is to be there. He said, all my homeboys want me to go get him, sack him at least once. And he said, I don't know. He said the right things. I don't know if I can pull that off. But I'm going to be out there giving them hell. And I believe he will give everybody they play hell.
Yes.
And then we go to the other young player on my defense, Trevon Diggs. He is competing against a stud receiver in Amari Cooper in practice, and they are doing battle. And Amari got him in episode 4 3 times, and then last night it looked like he got him 4 straight times. That's how it was edited. And then he fouled him in the end zone. He just grabbed him on the 5th play and got a flag. But my point was, Trevon Diggs, he could be a star. He's got star quality about him. And he loves to compete. So I love what I saw, which brings me back to offense to my man Zeke. He's been happy Zeke the whole camp. He's like giddy, silly, happy. And he's teaching the kids. He's teaching that kid Hardy that wound up on the practice squad. And he looks like he's ready to be a leader of the football team. So to me, could he have a bounce back year? You say no, and I'm saying big yes on Zeke. Can he do it against what was the #1 rush defense in the league last year, tomorrow night in Tampa? It's going to be tough, but he's got to set an early tone, maybe so. So I loved what I'm seeing from all of the above. It felt good to me. CeeDee Lamb, seeing inside him, it felt good to me. He's going to have a breakout season.
But Skip, when I look at it, are you playing the short game or are you playing the long game? This is an 18-week, basically, regular season. Are you putting all your eggs in this one basket? Are you going to be deflated if you don't come out? Because it seems to me you're bullish on them after episode 5. Are you going to be sluggish if they don't come out and play like you expect them to play on Thursday night? Are you going to come here on Friday and be like,
okay,
I got too excited?
As I predicted, this point spread has escalated up. It is now 8.5. 8.5-point dogs they are. By a whole point, the biggest underdog of this opening weekend.
You see what happened. They watched episode 5 of Hard Knocks and said, no, we need to give them another half a point.
I think they watched yesterday's episode of Undisputed, and I'm saying if I were a betting man and I didn't love the Dallas Cowboys, I would bet the ranch on Tampa in this game, even at 8 points, because I think it should be a 12-point spread. I just feel better about the overall morale of my football team. The potential is there. We're going to win the NFC East and shut you up. That's all I care about. And now I'm at least to the point where I think we'll be good enough tomorrow night not to get embarrassed.
But you picked the score to be something like 35-10.
I did 35-10.
That's embarrassing.
I'm going to adjust it down a little bit by tomorrow. Just a little bit, because I like the way Dak will not have played a football game of any reality.
There's a lot of guys that haven't played football games in a very long time.
But he hasn't played for 333 days. Yeah. Do I love that? I do not love that.
Well, Lyle Collins hadn't played it even longer. Tyron Smith is right on that in that same. Well, at least they went out there and got 4 or 5 reps in the preseason.
Okay, and they're still playing games about Zach Martin. I doubt seriously he's going to play, but they're saying under the protocol, because he's vaccinated, that he will get a chance to pass 2 straight COVID tests.
Right.
To get to tomorrow night, that there's still a tiny window of opportunity that he might be able to play. Obviously, he's not injured. I don't know what COVID is doing to him. CeeDee talked about how he quickly lost taste and smell. But it went away and it seemed like 4 or 5 days, and he was right back to normal. So I don't know what's going on with Zach's body right now. But if he's okay from COVID, then I wouldn't be shocked if he'd play tomorrow night. So I got all that going for him.
You're hoping.
Okay, I am hoping. So now if you want me to go back to pessimistic and objective, I will cap it off with this. The man who scares me the most about my Cowboys is the same man who has owned and operated the Cowboys since 1989. And the most horrifying scene of all of episode 5 and really all of Hard Knocks came fairly early in last night's episode. If we could see Jerry in the cuts meeting with the coaches and Will McClay, the personnel director, with Steven at his side. Horrifying.
He's the only one.
Okay, to me, to see 78-year-old Jerry Jones in a cuts meeting with veto power. Like he is the operating general manager.
Yeah.
Final say, Buck is going to stop on Jerry's desk.
He's made it abundantly clear.
Okay, but I got to see it, or I had to see it. I was forced to swallow it in action.
Yeah.
Right? I got right before. I don't even envision that ever happening.
No.
I know on draft night he's right in the middle of it, but they're talking about the 55th, 4th, and 3rd man on the squad, right? That's what we're talking about. And he wants to know everything. He wants to have his hands on the final 3 guys who make the roster.
Skip, some owners on draft night will be in there, but it's just mainly for show. Just like, okay, I'm a part, but they're not okay, who are we doing and all that, anything like that. They're definitely not in the cuts meeting. Mr. B was not in the cut meeting with Mike Shanahan.
Has any owner in the history of the league been in a cuts meeting?
No.
I could see if maybe they sat in on the final meeting before a Super Bowl just to hear what the strategy was. This is the minutia. As Jerry said, the night he bought the team, that it was called the Saturday Night Massacre back in February of 1989. He said that night, while everybody was mourning the quote-unquote death of Tom Landry, as in that was the end of him. He'd been fired. And Jerry was like, Christmas morning, I bought the Dallas Cowboys. And he said, I'm going to know everything down to the socks and jocks. That was the quote.
Right.
Well, this is a socks and jocks meeting. Yes. This is where he wants to know. And he's actually sharing his input on the little Hardy kid who made the practice squad. And he's saying, well, we know he's got that
burst.
That quickness, that burst. What? It's like fantasy football. It's like he's sitting up there watching like a fan.
Right.
And I defend Jerry in that he did play college football at a pretty high level.
Yes.
He was starting guard on a national championship team at Arkansas. But the point is, as much as I credit him for making the Charles Haley trade, because he is a wheeler dealer, that's where he's at his best.
Right.
If you tell him, hey, Charles Haley is really good and he could change the balance of power. Oh, okay, well, let me go see if I can pull this off with Carmen Policy in San Francisco. And that was 1992 when he pulled it off. They were sick and tired of Charles Haley. He'd become way more trouble to them than he was
Very
worth.
sick and very tired.
Very sick and very tired because the episodes were ugly beyond printable. We can't even talk about
And getting worse.
Right, and getting worse. And somehow Jerry pulled off trading for Charles Haley, and it simply put them over the top into winning the next 2 Super Bowls that should have been, as you know, maybe 4 or 5 Super Bowls. But they did win 3 out of 4.
Right.
And that was thanks in large part to Charles Haley and to Jerry Jones. But does he understand and know football? Not really.
You know where you get this from. What other owner in NFL history?
Al Davis.
Thank you.
Yep. He learned, he sat at the knee of Al Davis that first year. Right away, they started having camp joint practices with the Oakland Raiders so that Al Davis and Jerry could go to dinner every night.
Skip, like we have practice scripts.
Yep.
Okay, you got the plays that you're going to run. They had to give Al a practice script.
Yep.
Copies of the practice, Al had to see, like, okay, does this match up?
Okay, but Al at least had coached.
Skip, he was
had been
coach. He was
a
the
head
commissioner of the
coach.
AFL.
He was the commissioner of the AFL, but he also coached.
Yes,
he was the head coach in the AFL.
So it wasn't just like, okay, I own a team. I got the money. I own a team. That's what I'm doing. No, he got his hands dirty. He understood the minutia, the nuances of running, of coaching. Skip all the cuts and the details and looking at the gameplay. What goes into being a coach and what goes into running a team. Skip, from the ground level, not from the upper level. Jerry understands that, Skip. He's as good a businessman as we've ever had on a team in the NFL.
Agreed.
That cannot be questioned. That cannot be denied.
Yep.
But on the ground floor.
Yep. Okay. So, bottom line takeaway from last night was, I believe my team is positioned to win the NFC East. That's all I'm going to say. And at least not embarrass itself at Tampa tomorrow night.
Embarrassed.
And that will be all in spite of. They will win in spite of the head coach and the owner, general manager. In spite of.
Well, you might need to watch episodes 6 and 7. You're getting embarrassed.
Really?
On national television.
Well, episode 6 will occur on Friday morning right here.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Okay.
And I want you to see how you call for copy, how you call for that. I want you to call for them plays when Tom Brady throws for like 4 touchdowns. I want you to call when that defense is suffocating your team. Yep.
Oh, so you have now agreed that Tom Brady is the greatest player in NFL history, right?
No,
Tom
that's
Brady
not what I
is so
agreed
great
to.
that they had to talk about him on the episode last night. Just how challenging it is to go up against the guy. It was an entertaining season. I always enjoy the inside look. The Kamara moment was definitely my favorite, Shannon. It's cool to have those moments when, just they've been working for it their whole life.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.